This episode of the ResortLoop.com podcast is brought to you by Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Company. Joffrey's is proud to be the official specialty coffee of Disney. Enjoy drinks and pastries at Joffrey's kiosks throughout the parks and check out the Disney Specialty Coffee Collection only at Joffreys.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
While your group is together, now is a great opportunity to pick a time and place to meet should you become separated in the park.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott.
I'm Bob Collar.
I'm the Whip. He's the Nene.
No.
This is ResortLoop.com.
No. Nobody wants to see it, especially with my bad back.
Oh, my goodness.
If I were to do that right now.
In my coordination, we would take out small children.
Although we could be an attraction at Walt Disney World.
That's true.
Oh
my gosh.
goodness.
Everybody, thanks for joining us. This has been a... We finally come down from the D23 highs.
Yes, the D23. Can't wait for the next one.
My goodness, we need to just jump ahead to the future.
You better start digging deep in those pockets. I want to go.
We need to do a poll or some kind of table, squares, some kind of gambling thing. How many price increases will there be between now and the time the Star Wars land fully opens?
Oh, forget about it.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to have a couple of price increases, I think.
A couple.
I'm just wondering if forget about Magic Kingdom. Disney Hollywood Studios will be the most expensive park to get into.
I was going to say, do you think that could surpass the Magic Kingdom in that one-day rate?
For a year at least. Everybody's trying to jam in there, yeah. So, Tim,
yes,
I have a This Day in Disney History.
I love This Day in Disney History.
1923, Walt Disney, now residing in California,
Nice.
Or California.
I am the governor.
Yeah, it's very
Welcome
hot.
to my state.
Writes a letter to film distributor M.J. Winkler of New York City, informing her that he is no longer connected with the Laugh-O-Gram Films in Kansas City.
Oh, my goodness.
Walt writes that, quote, I am establishing a studio in Los Angeles for the purpose of producing the new and novel series of cartoons I have previously written you about, end quote. Those novel series will be called Alice Comedies. How about that?
I hope that takes off.
I hope he's successful. You know, the poor guy.
Oh, my goodness.
So that will be my This Day in Disney History, Tim.
Excellent. I heard Arnold Schwarzenegger was going to be the next governor of California yet again.
What?
Because when he was asked, he said, it's not a rumor.
And he said, I'll be back. Get to the chopper. That's the other one he says. I don't even know what those mean. But Tim.
Bob, I'm kind of interested and yet a little taken aback, a little disturbed.
You are disturbed. I can
disturbed.
vouch for that. Yeah,
I am disturbed.
Absolutely.
And so is my whip and the nene. Today we're addressing something that is more than half empty.
Yeah. We haven't done a half-empty show in a while.
No, we have not.
We try to be positive.
We try.
But, not everybody has a positive experience.
Everybody does not.
At the Disney parks.
Everybody does not. I will say they probably would not on 2 trips.
True.
But if that first trip is your negative trip, then you've got the bad taste in your mouth.
Exactly. And that's one thing that Disney has always tried to not do. They've always tried to make that every experience a perfect one, which is what hooks a lot of people, including us.
Absolutely.
So anyway, we one of the things we do like to do here, we do a little bit of research, Tim.
A little bit. We've been known.
we do dig deep into.
I've been known to crack open an encyclopedia.
But we're always searching different forums and boards and things like that, trying to gauge what people are thinking about and experiences. And we ran across this one. This one's on, believe it or not, a consumeraffairs.com website.
Ooh, yes.
About Walt Disney World. And it was I'm not going to say the gentleman's name, but it was an article or a mention on consumer affairs that kind of sparked my attention, and I wanted to kind of address that today, if we may. So this happened to this person in August this month and this year, and this person said, I returned yesterday from a trip to Disney with my children and grandchildren. Very pricey, as you are aware. When I was a much younger executive, I taught a class for my fellow executives on successful management. I used Disney as a model for excellence. I pointed out Disney's attention to detail, commitment to excellence, and their focus on giving their guests what they wanted. You can ask a street sweeper for directions, I told them, and he would have an extraordinary knowledge of the park. In Epcot, I stopped an elderly gentleman with a Disney tag to ask where a certain pavilion was. Now, this is Epcot.
Right.
He scratched his head, pulled a worn map out of his back pocket, and said, I think you go left. Asking someone else confirmed my suspicion he had no idea. Later in the day, we decided we were too full for lunch. Since I had a deluxe meal plan, I called customer service to cancel. And we know what's going to happen. The wait before someone finally answered was absurd. Why was that the case? I tell you, pure economics. You could put on more people to answer the phones, but that might impact on profitability, right? The representative told me that canceling would result in a costly penalty. So get this, Tim. So I went to the restaurant and in one breath asked the waiter to bring me a drink, appetizer, entree, and dessert with the check. We left all the food on the table and avoided the cancellation fee.
All right.
Brilliant decision on your part, he's saying to Disney. So they wasted all that food.
Right. I don't like to see that.
Right. I'm going to encourage anyone who visits Disney to do the same. I'm also going to post the suggestion on any bulletin board I can find. Returning to our resort on your transportation bus was the straw that broke the camel's back. People were packed in like sardines. Women with crying babies stood in a poorly air-conditioned bus. Again, this problem is easily addressed. You could put on more buses, but no, that might impact on profitability, wouldn't it? I won't return to the park, and I'll encourage my friends to do the same. You should be ashamed. And he ends this with saying, Walt is probably spinning in his grave. Now, this just happened, obviously, again, in August. So I thought we should probably talk about some of these things. What do you think about what he wrote, Tim?
Well, I think we've all experienced a lot of what he's experienced at different levels.
Right.
Can't say I've had everything happen on the same trip.
Right.
So I think his planets align just right or wrong for him.
Yeah.
I will say it was August. It's been brutally hot down there. I know my patience seems to dwindle a little bit when I get super uncomfortable and super hot.
Absolutely.
So I'm willing to throw that in here on the table as well. Pricey. I mean, we can't really complain too much. We all know that going in.
You know that going in. You know that you're going to spend an exorbitant amount of money. But I do have to agree with him. I have a real issue with the whole, and I know why they did it with the whole ADR thing. You know me. I like to go, and depending on what I feel like eating that day, that's what I'll eat.
Right.
But, people abuse the system. They would make reservations back in the day when you didn't have to pay for a reservation. They would make multiple reservations for the same amount of time.
Same peak dining time.
Same peak dining time. And then they would only show up at one, and the other ones would go unused. And you're screwing somebody else out of using that ADR or that table. But I got to say this. With the whole close to $2 billion that they spent on the MyMagic Plus, can't that system say, okay, you already made a reservations for dinner. You can't make any more reservations for dinner. They can sell you a mug.
Oh, right.
That can sense that, hey, this mug has been used 2 minutes ago.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So it's not going to refill again, but it can't tell the system, hey, wait, this guy just made a dining reservation for 5 o'clock. He's trying to make another one for 5:30. There's no way he can be that hungry again in 30 minutes.
And here's another one I came up with the whole app and My Magic Band.
Mm-hmm.
They know where you're at. So if you're
Right.
you're at the studios and you have a dining reservation in an hour at the Magic Kingdom,
You're probably not going to make it.
probably not going to make it.
Right. Right.
If a half an hour from before that, you haven't clocked out of the theme park you're in.
Right.
And I really believe they know where you're at in the park at all times.
Oh, absolutely. They have
That
to.
might be the conspiracy side of me.
Well,
Just because it's not beeping doesn't mean they don't have a good idea where you're at.
they at least know what park you're in because
least.
you have to scan the Magic Band when you go in. And then if you're purchasing anything, the Magic Band gets scanned again.
And pictures taken or ride photos, they know where you're at.
Right, or any of the interactive things that you're doing. So I have a real issue with having to make those ADRs so far out in advance anyway. And, sadly, that guy came up with... I can't disagree with his method to go in and go, okay, you're going to charge me whatever it is, $40 for the cancellation fee, I think it is, or somewhere near there. And instead of me eating the $40, I'm going to make Disney eat the $40. I'm going to make them eat the entire dinner. So there it is, especially if it's a free dining plan. You've just wasted all of that food, which is a shame.
It absolutely it is.
So there is that.
And also, they're trying to push people to use the app to cancel all these reservations.
Right.
Because it's a whole lot cheaper to use technology, allegedly, than hiring on and talking to actual people.
But again, this is a guy who he said he was there with his children and grandchildren. So how tech savvy is this guy going to be?
Well, that's true.
And really, isn't your vacation supposed to be anxiety free?
Well, it's supposed to be. First of all, we've all planned Disney vacations. We know they're not anxiety-free.
True.
But we don't need other people piling on our anxiety by making things more difficult than they need to be.
Right. So maybe they can make it a little less anxiety-free by kind of getting rid of that. That bugs me quite a bit. But that's just me. And again, we've talked about this before. I don't like to make those ADRs 180 days out because I don't know where I'm going to want to eat. And then you throw in, we're going to charge you a cancellation fee. That just adds to my anxiety and makes me not want to make any kind of reservations.
I will say that I do recall last time we were making reservations, they were sending us email confirmations.
Oh, okay.
An occasional, like in a week, you've got a reservation or in a couple of days. But still, if you got to cancel it, that can be difficult.
Right. Or somebody gets sick and, we can't go to dinner tonight. So-and-so's sick.
Now, he doesn't stay... Did he say he was staying at a Disney hotel?
Well, they were using the Disney transportation, so I'm guessing that they were, yeah.
Okay, because I believe you could just run down to the concierge.
He said returning to our resort, yeah.
Okay, you could use the concierge at the hotel, and I think they can cancel dining reservations to you also. But if you're not there...
not there, right.
And it shouldn't take that long to cancel a reservation.
And I got to be honest, the last time I was down there, when we were trying to use the Disney app to make reservations, there were many times that the My Magic or the the Disney app was down. It wasn't working.
You know what? Sometimes you have to go to the browser on your phone and not use the actual app, I found.
Oh, okay.
It's much quicker.
Right.
Little tip, I don't know if that's still the case since they probably spent another $500,000 on it between now and the last time I used it.
Right. Now, I will, let's address the bus situation, the transportation situation, because the last time I was down there, I used that. My son and I used the buses. And one thing that we got to point out, we got to talk about is if you're using Disney transportation, don't get park hoppers. You're going to spend your whole day hopping from bus to bus just to make those connections. You and I aren't public transportation people.
No. And a lot of people aren't. If you're maybe in the Northeast, where maybe you use public transportation, subways, buses more often than we do, you're probably used to it, I guess is the word I would use.
Yeah.
We're just used to taking our cars everywhere.
Right. Right. We're used to that instant. Hey, we're here. Let's just go. Not let's wait for this connection and then get on this connection and go this way. And we had park hoppers, and it was almost impossible to get from park to park because it's just so much time wasted.
Right.
And as we all know, time is money at Disney World.
And isn't the worst feeling when you're waiting for a bus, the bus pulls up, and you just miss that bus because there's not enough room for you?
Well, there's that too.
That is aggravating.
You look at some of those bigger resorts like Caribbean Beach or the All-Stars or Coronado Springs, where if you're on that last bus route or last bus stop, you might have to wait for quite a few buses.
Oh,
because those first two bus stops fill that bus up, then they pull into the third one, and it's almost like adding insult to injury. Hi, the bus is here, but you can't get on.
Or if you get on the first bus stop, you have to make 5 or 6 bus stops before you can even leave the resort.
Right, which again, that whole time suck thing.
Exactly.
So, it's... the other thing that I noticed, too, the last time we were down there, are you ready for this? This was new from the last time I was there. They're now doubling up on the deluxe resorts. The Poly and the Grand Floridian share buses now.
Oh.
And the Contemporary and the Wilderness Lodge share buses now.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
So now you're paying those top dollar prices for a resort that now you're having to share your bus with another resort to get back, whether you're going to downtown Disney or one of the parks. So your bus ride is now even longer.
Right. When you're paying more money, you're paying the premium for like the deluxe amenities. I would think you should, I won't say get your own private bus, but you should have a resort-specific bus. A resort-specific bus, yeah. If you're talking about, we talked to Len Testa about this, the possibility of them upping the fast passes. The more you spend, the more perks you get. Right. I get that, though.
And I got no problem with that. But the more you spend, it seems like now the less perks you're getting if you can't even get a bus to take you directly to your resort.
Right.
And I noticed as well the buses that he is right about this. The buses are starting to stretch out time-wise. And again, going back to when we talked to Len Testa, they're tweaking stuff, trying to see how far they can stretch that rubber band before it breaks.
Right.
And I think that they're looking at, let's push the bus routes now. I remember it used to be 15 minutes. Now they've got signs saying every 20 minutes you'll get a bus.
Oof.
20 minutes is a long time to stand in that August heat.
Oh, the August heat, forget about it.
And then you got another 20-minute bus ride to where you want to go. Now, if you're not even going directly to your resort. So,
now, how many of the new buses have been those new ultra mega bendy buses?
That's the other thing I noticed. Are you ready for this? And this is something I'd like Looper Nation to tell us. Because anytime I've driven to the Magic Kingdom, I have hopped on the monorail or the boat going back.
Yes.
Never once did I realize that they have buses to take you to Ticket and Transportation. Did you know that?
From the Magic Kingdom?
From the Magic Kingdom.
When did this happen?
Well, the last time I was down there, they got them, and those are the bendy buses.
Right.
So as I stood waiting to go to my resort, watching the bendy buses sit there, these massive buses, with plenty of room for everybody that was going to my resort, and 2 or 3 people got on those going to Ticket and Transportation because everybody else is getting on the boat, the big ferry boat, or the monorail to go back to the Ticket and Transportation.
Well, first of all, that's a great tip. I've not heard anybody say you can take a bus from the Magic Kingdom gate to the
because nobody was doing it. Nobody knows because no one's doing it, and they're using the biggest buses for that. Made no sense to me.
Wow. They need signs. Maybe there are signs. I saw the sign.
I don't read signs. There's signs everywhere. There's signs. All right.
I'm going to slide in a second. What did I miss?
Yeah, you did. You did. I was giving you the bunt, but you didn't want to. You didn't want to do that. So there is that, and then let's go back to the original and the quality of the cast members. Now, this is not a general rule. I don't think. I think most of the cast members are still fantastic. I think they pay a great deal of attention to their training. They're still getting their Disney training. But you are going to, I think, occasionally run into a cast member that isn't necessarily immersed in the magic, if you will.
I found that kind of unusual, being the fact that he said he was an older gentleman, older cast member.
Right.
Generally, the people I found that are older who work there have had a passion for it for years.
Right.
So the fact that the older guy didn't know where a pavilion was
seemed strange.
Seemed very strange.
Yeah.
Not unheard of course. Maybe he just applied for a job, they hired him on.
Right.
But there's not that many pavilions. It doesn't take that long to get oriented to the future world.
Exactly. So,
unless he was asking for Horizons. that could have stumped the guy. That could be. Or maybe he was asking for Mission Space, and he's like, "Are you looking for Horizons? I know where that's at. I don't know any the new ones. Wonders of Life.
Wonders of Life." So, I know from my experiences, there have been very, very few times that I've had any issues with cast members.
Oh, absolutely.
I had a slight issue the last time I was there where a cast member bent over backwards to take care of the issue, and I find that more the norm than the other way around.
Oh, absolutely.
So I don't know. I mean, it's not always going to be maybe the greatest experience, but again, I think a lot of it has to do with that planning and making sure you do your due diligence to make your vacation a more fun and exciting experience.
Yeah, you got to take charge of it a little bit.
Absolutely.
I mean, he knew when he was going. I don't think he complained about the heat, but like I said, that kind of heat, just everybody gets a little antsy at that point.
Right.
He knew about the money, and he was taking children and grandchildren. So when you're spending a ton of money, that just kind of builds on I better get my money's worth out of this. I hope things go well, and while you don't want to be thinking about the dollar signs, it's kind of in the back of your mind.
It is, and then again, Disney's obviously they're looking at the bottom line. I mean, they've got a lot of money invested in the parks. They've got a lot of money invested in these movies, and they've got stockholders, including myself, that are saying, "Hey, I want to see my stock go up." So a lot of ways to do that is cutting costs. So you're going to see that in, look at what gas prices were.
Oh,
that had to have been costing them a ton.
Oh, I'm sure.
So no wonder they cut back on the busing, and then they probably thought, well, let's nobody's complaining too loud.
Right. Well, then you have sometimes when the monorail has been running on limited hours here and there, so they can do different upgrades there.
That's right. So,
and I would say, I enjoyed always enjoy letters, to the boards.
Mm-hmm.
I think he needs to take that same letter and actually send it to Disney, just so they know.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure they're following that stuff too. They're looking around as we are, but it can't hurt to send it directly to them.
Exactly.
It can't
and the sooner the better. You don't want to stew about it for weeks and months to go, I'm going to send that letter. As soon as you get back, just send it off, just so they know.
Absolutely.
I don't guarantee you'll hear anything back, but
you never know.
You feel better.
Maybe
we can make it better on the next trip.
Yeah. I know. When we took our dog down there, and I know this isn't a Disney property, but we put him in that Disney pet resort that they have down there. And I had a bad experience. They sent me a questionnaire. I filled it out as honestly as I could. I was upset about how the experience went. And they responded immediately and said that they were going to change how they were doing things.
Wow.
So sometimes it's a good idea, like you said, to fire that letter off. You don't have to be mean about it.
No.
He was very educated about it and knew what he was talking about because he knew the Disney history. So can't hurt to put it out there.
Absolutely not.
So before we go, Tim, you want to mention your tweet the other day about the Speedway? I thought that was brilliant.
You thought this was brilliant? I just thought it was ironic that they're tearing down the Walt Disney World Speedway.
Yeah.
For parking spaces, which I'm a little curious about myself.
And it's going to be weird.
And throwing in a Speedway gas station right across the street from where the Speedway was.
Yes. So they got rid of all the Hesses, which my son was very disappointed in.
I love the Hess.
I love the Hess.
You know, part of it is we don't have Hess around us here in Ohio.
Right.
We have speedways everywhere. Everywhere.
And we like to see different things when we go.
Exactly.
To Florida.
Now I can go to the same speedway I go to.
I don't want to do that. Although they can build a Disney World up here in Cleveland.
Have we talked about my theory on the speedway removal? I know we've talked about it off show. Have we ever mentioned it on show?
No.
I'm going to come out and I'm going to mention it.
Oh, here we go.
A Tim conspiracy theory.
Here we go.
The speedway is going away. This is my theory, by the way, after Google mapping. I think they're going to put another entrance to the Magic Kingdom off Western Way.
What?
You know what I heard the other day?
What?
They're redoing a golf course over at the golf resort.
What?
And where would a road have to go from Western Way to that parking lot, right where the speedway is?
I can vouch. He has pointed this out to me on Google Maps.
And I've not heard a mention of this anywhere, so just tuck that in the back of your heads and let me know if you hear anything. Because so many people will be going to the Star Wars world land in a theme park very far, far away.
Yes.
At some point.
Yes.
They might need another, and they're putting other hotels out there in that Western Way too.
Yeah.
So why would you want people driving all the way south, back to the east, to come back north?
Now I'm confused.
Yeah, I know. I'll show you on a map.
Show us on a map.
I'm a cartographer.
We need... Wow.
Yeah, I whipped that out. We can thank National Treasure for that one.
Get back in the cage.
Nicolas Cage?
Nicolas Cage. Get back in the cage. Anyway, Tim, since you won't turn the air conditioning on in the studio today...
Listen.
That...
It's not too bad outside.
...is all I've got.
We're getting used to the Disney buses. Everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott. What am I? Tim Resort Loop Scott on Facebook. Resort Loop Tim on Twitter. And the website, ResortLoop.com.
And he'll have a map up somewhere along the line with
Take a look. I'm not kidding.
Theories. I'm Resort Loop Bob on the Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget Facebook.com/Resort Loop. Rate us on iTunes. We really appreciate that. Where else can they listen to?
You can always find us on the Stitcher. Everybody, go whip your nay-nay. This has been the Gateway to the Magic.
See everybody.